Ladies and gents, and the rest. Today I'm going to show you 15 more talents. I'm going to be doing video demonstration as always. This is not all. This is not the only video. The rest is in the description in the playlist. So if you want to buy some unit, check it out. Maybe I already have it in my playlist. Old Murk-Eye. Talent number 1, Marathon of the Murlocs. March of the Murlocs lasts an additional 5 seconds longer after deploying. Right here I'm just featuring the difference between having this talent and having something else, but why you need to take it or not to take it, we'll talk about it when we get to the what to pick. Tip of the spear. Tide hunters spawn at old Murk-Eye's location instead. So normally all additional Murlocs are spawned from the core. If you take this talent, all these little Murlocs will be spawned from your Murk-Eye. Next talent is Electric Eels. I hope I said that right. Attacks briefly stun enemies. As you can see, it does exactly what it says. Watch. Boom. Okay, I'm gonna pause it a little bit. As you can see, this raider gets stunned as well, so everything around the primary target in this radius will be stunned. And if your attack speed is too low, like the Molten Giants in this case, you will never be able to hit Murk-Eye. So what do we take? Number 1, hands down, we take Marathon of the Murlocs, because first of all, it allows you to spawn extra Murlocs, because even if you don't have enough gold, you still have 5 seconds to spawn. Even if you spawn 1 Kobold during this next 5 seconds, you still get 3 Murloc, which is not bad, right? And especially, it's very useful during the overtime. You will be able to constantly spawn these free Murlocs, because you're gonna cycle through your deck so quickly so that before the first marathon ends, the new one starts, because you're gonna deploy new Murk-Eye. So you will constantly be able to spawn like swarms of Murlocs at your enemy if you make it to overtime. If you make it to overtime. Talent number 2. I would take Electric Eels. Here's why. Number 1, right now we have the modifier called Hero's Resolve, which increases the level of the hero every time it's deployed. And Murk-Eye, if you deploy him too many times, which is pretty much like the strategy for any player, meta strategy is just to deploy as many heroes as you can. So if you deploy this Murk-Eye enough times, he will be very strong. And if he has this micro stun, first of all, it interrupts towers, stuns everything around the primary target, as you saw, and it becomes very deadly unit. If he cannot be one-shotted by spells, man, he's a problem. That's why I would take this talent as a second. And this guy, Tip of the Spear, I have never seen any use for it. It doesn't really increase the number of anything. It just switches the spawn location. Again, maybe it's useful. If you find some use for it, some real use for it, let me know. I've been playing this game for 2 years. I have no idea where to use it and get a good value out of it. So Marathon is number 1, 100%. Electric Eels number 2, and Tip of the Spear number 3. Arcane Blast. Talent number 1, Torrent. Gain a level after casting rank 4. Well, basically, there is nothing to show. It's just on the background, it's just, just casting Arcane Blast. The only thing that you need to understand here is that in order to increase your Arcane Blast level by 1, you have to spend or waste 10 gold. That's pretty much the only thing I can say about this talent. Next talent is Amplification. Sequential taps increase radius by 1. Okay, Oh, up, boom. This is the radius of 1 gold cost. Then we go 2. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. Next talent is Arcane Power. Spell sequence starts at rank 3 and ends at rank 4. That's exactly what's gonna happen. Your first hit will cost 3 gold, as you can see. You hit something for 3 gold with a 3 gold power, and then it gives you 4 gold. You use it for 4 gold, and that's pretty much it. Now, the most interesting thing about this spell is what the hell do we take first? And does every single talent have a value here? Number 1 that you take is Arcane Power. Spell sequence starts at rank 3 and ends at rank 4. Because if you want to get to this rank 3 without this talent, you would have to spend 1 gold without casting anything else, then 2 gold without casting anything else, and only then the 3 gold will be available for you. Because the other 2 talents also, Amplification and Torrent, they don't really give you any extra value, they don't change the mechanic, they don't do anything that increases your power on the battlefield, like at the moment if you're using them. That's why if you want to have one of these talents instead of Arcane Power, you just go like this, you go talentless, and it's gonna make almost no difference than having Amplification or Torrent. Okay? So Arcane Power is the first talent that you should have, and probably the only talent. However, we will need more talents, right, to buff the level of our spell. So number 2, you take Amplification, because ironically, right now we are experiencing the bug with, what's it called? Some kind of a strike, but it's when units hit with double damage on the first attack. For some reason, right now it applies to spells as well, and that's why if you use Amplification, you can kind of like increase the range of your spell, and you can like literally like delete half of the map. But again, it's not intentional. So Amplification, it's not second best, it's just a little better than talent number 3. And talent number 3 is Torrent, because you have to spend 10 gold to have value from this talent. And I don't know, again, the number of use cases for it is very teeny tiny, right? So you go Arcane Power number 1, hands down, Amplification number 2, and Torrent number 3. This is how I went. I never had to regret. Chimaera. Talent number 1, Corrosive Breath. Poison Spit inflicts twice as much poison. Here's what you need to know about this talent. Like, a normal attack of Chimaera with Poison Head applies 2 stacks of poison. If you take this talent, you apply 4 stacks of poison per attack, which is huge, especially if you need a dot, if you're attacking the boss or something. Next talent is Frost Shock. Lightning Ball applies frost on hit. So what you need to know is that Lightning Head attacks with a little chain lightning. So, which is exactly like normal chain lightning, but lower damage, I guess. And when it freezes one target, it freezes everybody else, like whoever is in the radius, right? So it's kind of like AoE frost, not just a single target frost. Talent number 3, which I don't have on this on my main account. I have it on free-to-play account, but it's impossible to show it, right? It gain Leviathan gain 10% additional HP per deploy. Here's what you need to know about this 10%. First of all, you can only increase it 3 times. So after 3 deploys of Chimaera, you won't be able to increase HP. Number 2, the stacks are additive, not multiplicative, which means if your Chimaera has 100 HP, you will deploy it with 110. Next deploy, it will not deploy it with 10% from 100 to 10. It will still deploy it with plus 10 only. So it's like 110, 120, 130. That's what your Chimaera will end up with. But deploying 3 Chimaeras, which is like 15 gold in one match, and maybe it's only possible in PvE, but for PvE we have a lot of better talents, right? Now, what do we take? Number 1, we take Corrosive Breath. Poison Spit inflicts twice as much poison. I'm pretty sure you have all seen already how to kill Devil Sword Queen using 1 Chimaera. I'm the one who came up with this. Don't thank me. Just watch the short. So that, first of all, Chimaera is a S-tier PvE unit, absolutely useless in PvP because of its cost, but it's very, very powerful PvE unit. What you need to know, some basic information is, Chimaera has 2 heads, as you can see, and these 2 heads, they operate independently. So the poison head always attacks the highest HP target, whether it's a structure or a unit, doesn't matter. The second, the lightning head, always attacks the lowest HP target. The lightning head attacks with chain lightning. It's the exact, like the mechanic of its attack, it's the exact, it's just, if you think that it throws chain lightnings every time it attacks, this is exactly what it does. Which means it can hit up to 20 targets at a time. 20 targets with chain lightning. That's how it works. I know it's a video demonstration video. It's a talent demonstration video, but I have to explain these things so you would understand why we make certain choices, right? Number 1, we take Devil Poison. Number 2, we take Frost Shock, because again, you can find a use for it in some situations in PvE, a really good talent as well. And number 3, we take Leviathan. Chimaera is very squishy, and this plus 30% doesn't make much difference. I'd rather have Double Poison. Hey. Abomination! Talent number 1, Cannonball. On deploy and at 50% health, stun nearby enemies for 5 seconds. I'm going to show you the way how to abuse this mechanic. Most of you probably know that, but if you're a beginner, you might not know that. But right now, let's take a look at how it works exactly. So on deploy, it's going to stun everybody for 5 seconds. Everybody around, watch. We're going to throw it here, watch. Bam. So everything is stunned for 5 seconds. You attack, attack, attack. 2, 2, 2. Okay. When it's at 50%. Oh my god. So he is casting the hook, but he should have stunned everybody. Watch what happens after that. Bam! He drops on his ass and stuns everything around again. So when you deploy it, it stuns everybody, and when he hits 50% HP, he stuns everybody again. Next talent is Fresh Meat. After hooking a target, deal double damage on the next attack. Now, here is what you need to know about hooking. First of all, Abomination hooks the ranged units. It hooks the farthest ranged unit it can reach every 5 seconds. So the hook has a 5-second cooldown. When it hooks something, it switches to this target and it starts attacking the target it hooked. That is kind of like special power of the Abomination. So what this talent does is when you hook something and you start attacking that, first hit that you do is does double damage. As you can see, Huntress takes 2 hits to kill with the talent and 3 hits without the talent. But in reality, this talent is well, the best use I've had with this talent was when you use it on a Banshee. Because Banshee, when you hook it, if you don't one-shot the Banshee, it will steal your Abomination. That's why this talent is like works really. It looks like it was created just specifically for this situation. In any other case, I would take something else. But this is how the hook mechanic works. I know I have to explain these things, so you understand. This talent demonstration video turns into mini guides. Sorry, guys. Next talent is Noxious Presence. Poison nearby enemies every 3 seconds. Does exactly what it says. Boom. Every 4 seconds. Boom. See, everybody's green. It's not what you thought. It's poison. So, every 4 seconds you apply poison. That is the mechanic of this talent. And this is the... One sec, I'll show you the radius just in case if you didn't see that. Boom. This is kind of the radius. So what do we take? Number one, the best talent for Abomination is Noxious Presence. Because it does a lot of damage. You can combine it with Cheat Death and get a lot of health back. Watched my video about the Cheat Death if you don't understand what I'm talking about. And yeah, overall this is the best talent that we have. If you pair Abomination with Tyrion, you're going to be able to do a lot of damage, and like Abomination hits like everything in front of him plus everything around because of poison, right? So it's a lot of damage. Number two, you take Cannonball. Here is what I promised to tell you. The thing is that on deploy and at 50% health, it stuns. On deploy, it's only one-time thing, but every time you are at 50% health, you're going to stun everything around. In other words, if you pair it with Tyrion again, and you heal your Abomination, and for example, your Abomination stuns everybody at 50%, then you heal him, and he is above 50% again. Once he goes below 50%, he stuns everybody for 5 seconds again. And you can keep doing that infinitely. I know it's really hard to execute, I'm just telling you that this is how it works. This stun doesn't have any diminishing returns, so it will always be 5 seconds every time it stuns. So that's the interesting synergy. And number three, I would say it's fresh meat, because like I said, there's only one use case for it in the entire game. Maybe in the future we'll find something else, but right now that's how it goes. Noxious Presence number one, Cannonball number two, Fresh Meat number three. Skeleton Party. Talent number one, Corpse Run. Gain +1 level for each deploy after the first. Maximum +3 levels. Yeah, that's how it works. You deploy it for the first time, it's level 24 in my case. Second time, same fight, level 25. And a third time, it's going to be level 26. That is the maximum you can get. Next talent is 5 men, summons a skeleton tank, rogue, priest, and 2 mages. So if you position it correctly like that, and the tank is in front, this group will perform a little bit better than the group without this talent. Not ideal, again, not the best choice in my opinion, but it's better than nothing, I guess. Next talent is Ritual of Rime. Summon 5 skeleton mages who guard the deploy location. So when you summon these skeletons, we already had one pack, so they're gonna stay here forever and they're gonna guard the deployed location. This is a very important talent, where we'll talk about it when we get to what to choose, right? So what do we take? Ritual of Rime. You don't have to take it as a first talent, but you will need to take it as a second talent. So you take it either right away or as a second talent, doesn't matter. Because this Ritual of Rime is a part of the deck to kill Onyxia. Again, today is what? March 21st, 2024, and the easiest deck to kill Onyxia with has the Skeleton Party with a Ritual of Rime talent. So you will need that, not right away, but you will need this talent. Talent number 2, I would go with Corpse Run, not because it's really, really good, but because it's better than the third talent. And there is one PvP strategy with this talent, with this unit talent and Chalga. You pair it with Chalga with increased level. It's a long story. You don't need to know that right now. But there's only one PvP deck that I know that actually works. And number 3, you take 5-man. I don't have it on my main account. I use the footage from my free-to-play account. So 5-man, it's like, I don't know, it's just, in theory, it's supposed to work, but I've never seen it work. You know what I'm saying? So this is the worst out of these 3 in terms of usefulness. So these are all talents that I have for you today. I will see you in the next video with the new units, right? That's all.